first of all, congratulations on winning the prize.
Thank
It's a huge challenge because there's just so many wonderful people doing wonderful stuff in clean tech these days. But SELCO Foundation has been been up there competing for years. It's been a finalist before.
SELCO India has been, the for-profit has been.
Oh, the for-profit, right? And
the foundation the first time. Yeah.
aha, yeah. Okay, so I was conflating them. But I mean, tremendous work. It was in 1995 that you started SELCO India, and back then, solar wasn't what it is today, right? So where did you have the brilliant idea to be a leader at the forefront of the solar revolution back then?
I'm not sure it was a brilliant.
It was early.
It was at that point of time. Frankly, I felt it was a common sense in terms of the only way I believed that point of time was to that the only way to get poverty out and eradicate poverty and put development at the forefront, forget climate change, put development at the forefront. And the only thing that made sense was sustainable energy. And so if people were using kerosene, people were cutting wood, and the expenditure that people were doing at that point of time, actually if you created a financial model, it was working. It's not according to what returns people expect, but it was working. So way back in 94 itself, it made a lot of sense using the development angle.
And you studied energy engineering before that?
Yeah, all my degrees were energy, from bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Yeah.
So did that insight just come from that education, or was it?
No, unfortunately, not from the education side.
Really?
But most of the insights came, I guess, was my colleagues whom I traveled with in the rural areas, and just looking at the itty-bitty. Okay, how much does a street vendor spend on a daily basis?
Yeah.
How much a sewing machine? How much does she lose because she does not have electricity?
Yeah.
And those are small things that actually made.
And you say common sense. It does seem like common sense. If you look at the lifetime operational cost of burning fuel, and you look at
lifetime. One is the beauty of sustainable energy is democratizes.
Yeah.
It democratizes health. It democratizes education. It democratizes empowerment. Like I have the light when I need it. I have the sewing machine when I need it. I need the health at my doorstep. I can provide a solar-powered dental chair, foldable, rather than the poor traveling to the hospital. I can go with a solar-powered projector to a remote school rather than kids coming for. I can break the whole technology. I mean sustainable energy in general. I think that's where the beauty of sustainability, it democratizes.
And this is a topic I wanted to get into with you a bit, because we're very drawn to the democratization of energy that it provides. The distribution of power, electricity, also means the distribution of social power and socioeconomic power more, and that's obviously a huge challenge today, and it always has been. So there's this potential, but the need for clean energy is so huge that there's a diversity of approaches, right? And India has taken a very strong approach on these. What's the word now? Ultra mega solar power plants.
Yes.
These huge, tremendously huge. How do you see that as just complementary, or do you have? Do you wish that there was more of a focus on the democratized distributed?
I always would wish, because if you're looking at 600 million people, forget the 400 million people who have everything, right? I'm focusing on the 600 million people, but also in some cases, like it's like a software industry. Like, would you want Word, Excel, or PowerPoint? What would you use, right? It depends on the situation what you use the word. I think same here. Large, okay, makes sense only if transmission lines are nearby, and you have free water source. Okay, if you don't have water source, large solar tower, the cost of water is tough. I mean, it's going to be expensive. For me, decentralized energy is the most sustainable way of providing electricity. Absolutely, completely negates transmission and distribution lines. It is customized to the needs and the wants at the doorstep. And the resources are at the doorstep. I want a light today? Yes, great. After a year, I want to have a sewing machine? Great. I modular it, I increase it. So I have to design it according to it. But also, it pushes for multiple thinking, that I can do education and energy together. In large things, what happens? Energy comes, then education, then health. In decentralized, you do all the three parameters together.
Right. Yeah, these indirect effects are something that very seldom talked about, where if you get solar or you get an electric vehicle, you start thinking about energy, and you start conserving energy, and you start you have a totally different relationship to it.
I mean, and also what's going to happen, just like for example, we did boat clinics, okay? Boat clinics it was diesel power, and people had to come back. Boat clinics means inside you have vaccine refrigerator, autoclave, you have a dental chair, you have a infant warmer, right?
Okay.
So we solar powered everything else, okay? And so that they can stay much longer in the islands. So per rupee per patient or per service actually decreased. Okay? But the beauty of it is, it pushes for efficiency and innovation. Today, when I powered a solar-powered sewing machine, you blame me for solar to be expensive. Nobody blames the sewing machine to be inefficient, right? Today, sewing machines, silk weaving machines, butter churners, silk weaving, all are inefficient. Even if somebody made 20% more efficient, I will prove solar is viable today, competing against grid. Inefficiency is the best friend of the grid.
Yeah.
And that is what we are saying, that sustainable energy is the key. It will democratize and will push the thought process of innovation, value, dental chair, X-ray machines, infant warmers.
So in China and India, there have been this quick, large move to clean energy, and there have been targets for utility scale and commercial and small scale, and the small scale has been harder to hit, it seems like, because of different regulatory barriers, perhaps, or issues with roofs or whatnot. What do you see as the biggest barriers in this realm right now?
I think the biggest barriers in that is our industry is the biggest barrier. The clean tech industry for me is the biggest barrier. We are not thinking out of the box. What we should think is, what is clean energy leading to? In a conference like a clean energy conference, we should have a panel of doctors. We should have a panel of professors and principals of schools, right? I want energy to be part of education. I want energy to be part of health. A doctor coming and say, if I had energy, I could have delivered more services in the rural areas. We need to cut across, not to energy departments of countries. We should close down the energy department of countries. We should have a department of energy in health, department of energy in the education department, department of energy in women and child. Suddenly you see, because energy cuts across all, we are unfortunately focusing energy as unilateral. You go to energy conferences, where is a panel on health? We are looking at benefits of that. We all know the benefits of it. A doctor should be talking about, okay, this is how, a head of a public health hospital should be, this is how I use energy, solar energy. That is where we need to break. Our industry needs to break out.
And I mean, there's also something with the numbers and the scale. I remember I've been covering the Zayed Future Energy Prize for years, and the finalists and the winners, Deepal Barua of Bangladesh. I was writing an article about what's happened in Bangladesh, and the numbers of families and individuals helped by the democratized distributed solar was staggering. And this article blew up because nobody knew about it, because it's not large on the megawatt, gigawatt scale. And these numbers of people helped don't show up when they're so tailored so efficiently. They don't show up on these large gigawatt plans. Is there a problem in communication about this? Is there a problem in conveying that how many people can benefit from small scale solar?
One, yes. We have a communication on two sides. We are unfortunately pushing sustainable energy as a solution for the environment. We have to put sustainable energy as a solution for development and humanity. You negate the climate skeptics because they are not going to complain against the development, right? You are forcing the environmentalists to start thinking at solutions. We need to look at not scaling up solar panels. We need to create the way to scale up the process of entrepreneurship, scale up financing. Then the solar panels. Today we are focusing on solar panels and batteries, not scaling up the processes to actually happen. Livelihoods. Today we are saying the number of people impacted. What we should be, yes, that's great, number of people impacted. We should also say number of people having better health services. A number of people getting education in schools, not at home. Home is great, but schools. Then people saying that energy is actually cutting across. Had it not happened, we should look at number of jobs created by sustainable energy. Today what's happened is people talk of jobs being created in manufacturing. But a solar powered sewing machine is creating 10 jobs. We are not calculating that. because of solar, one person bought 10 sewing machines. That job is created by sustainable energy industry. We unfortunately just stick on the panels.
And I take it sewing machines is a big deal in India.
Sewing machines is a big deal, silk weaving is a big deal.
Yeah.
Today, in the last 1 month, we started a month ago on blowers for blacksmiths.
Uh-huh.
In 1 month, we have done 100. Okay. But do those 100 blacksmiths come under the solar radar that so many jobs created? No.
Of course not.
I think we should get how we are impacting not only the 3 billion people in lives, but sustainable energy is creating jobs in multiple sectors. A large solar plant will never create a job in that one.
And so SoCo Indo was already a social entrepreneurship, already a social business.
Yeah.
What made you think we should do SELCO Foundation and we
See, the biggest subsidy that Google got is the internet. Google would not have succeeded if the internet was not there.
You don't think so?
And who paid for it?
Yeah.
Google did not pay for internet, right?
Right.
Microsoft did not pay for it. It was the US military to everything else. We all pay the ecosystem, right? So while Social Enterprise SELCO India was doing it, we were training bankers. It was coming out of our precious equity money. It was doing for the industry. For that, we said, let us create an ecosystem for other youngsters not to repeat the mistake we have done. Mm-hmm. So that was a foundation. So foundation focuses on very poor area, innovations of technology, one, innovations on finance, and potential partners from the health education to come into the energy side. That's what the foundation is.
How do you split your time these days?
I left the for-profit completely. Yeah.
So you're fully on that.
Yeah.
And why did you feel more compelled? You just felt like more human impact?
No. I felt that that I was getting the credit of the work of the for-profit, which was actually done by my colleagues.
Yeah.
And so I said, no, those are the best guys to run it, and they run it. And the day I left in 2014, after 3 years, they have done much better than what I was doing. And so
you're too humble right now.
No. So one and a lot of my colleagues run it, and the foundation was basically we're going into the northeast and said let's use the youngsters' skills to get into the northeast of the country.